Hey everybody, this is Dan, recording a little video Anominy. This is a little experiment. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, just because there's a lot of crazy stuff in my apartment. Sometimes we talk about it on the podcast, but I'd like to show it off to you on video because, it just looks a lot cooler on video. So, the first thing I want to talk about is my not quite prison CRT. So some of you, this is this be this is it. Here's the remote, matching remote. And so some of you may be familiar with prison TVs. Prison TVs are, I don't think that's the technical name for them, but basically there's a bunch of restrictions that come with trying to buy a television if you're in prison. And of course, up until about 20 years ago, the vast majority of TVs that were sold were CRTs or cathode ray tube televisions. And so what makes the prison CRTs particularly interesting to collectors, people who like playing old video games, etc., I would fall into both of those categories, is that the chassis for the TV is completely clear so that you can, you can't bring weapons, contraband, drugs, what have you, into the prison. You can't hide them in the TV. You can tell if it's been tampered with. I can't imagine why somebody would want to hide drugs in the back of a CRT, because you're very likely to electrocute yourself and possibly die if you tried to get to said drugs. But prison regulations are what they are. Techmoan did a great video about how those work, why the restrictions are what they are. But what I have here today is not, strictly speaking, a prison CRT, but it's overage from a run of prison CRTs. So I guess the year that this was manufactured, there just wasn't, they didn't sell enough of these to prisoners. So the TV that I have is transparent green instead of the usual completely clear plastic. I can't seem to find a lot of information about this TV. I found it at a thrift store for a few bucks and obviously had to grab it because I have a problem. But anyway, let me show you some better shots up close of what makes this TV in particular so strange. So, first thing you notice, I have it playing Sega Genesis games right now, is obviously the clear color. Let me turn on a light so that that's a little bit easier to see. But here we go. So, it's a little bit hard to tell exactly what's so weird about this when it's on. And there's not a huge amount of light in this room. I might shoot this again in the morning. Let me turn it off so there's not all the light there. So you can see pretty clearly, you can see right through the chassis of the television. I gotta dust that off a little bit. So yeah, let me get some good views here. It looks very cool when it's on. You can see the ray tube right there, and one of the things that makes me think this is overage from a prison CRT run, beyond the clear chassis, which granted none of the ones that are sold to prisons were green, but they are all 13-inch screens, only have mono sound, and RF, which RF is always mono sound. Um, and the same exact model, give or take a few numbers at the end of it, has been sold a few times on eBay as a, used in a prison CRT. Uh, Beyond the clear green chassis, which I think would be pretty great for I just have a Sega Genesis hooked up to it right now, but it would be pretty sweet for, if you got like an Xbox kiosk from the original run of the Xbox. Um, Beyond that, it works pretty much like any CRT. There aren't a huge number of menu options. It's not like a Trinitron where you can kind of adjust everything very finely. But yeah, so that's if anybody knows more about where this came from, why the prison model CRT was being marketed to kids, this is also kind of a weird thing. You would not get a remote if you were actually in prison, but I'm not in prison, so I got the remote, which is pretty cool. And yeah, if anybody knows anything about these, it works pretty great. Works exactly how I would expect it to work. I could not find a year of manufacture anywhere, but I'm gonna guess this is probably from somewhere between 1998 and 2003. And yeah, it's just super cool. Let's give you another look around the chassis here. And yeah, if you like stuff like this, you like old media, old TV kind of stuff, tune into our podcast because that's pretty much all we talk about. Yeah, so I guess until then, take care, everybody, and hope you're having a good time out there, staying safe, and avoiding all that COVID. Take care.